Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, species around the multiverse, welcome to episode 366 of Geek Syndicate, where we do what? I'll tell you what we do. We bring the sass back to geekdom for 25. I am Muntz, and with me is...
Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year. Happy New... Not to you, though.
What's that about?
Happy New
It's rude.
Year to you. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I know, don't care.
Yeah, I know, I don't care. It's 2025, man. It's the year, but I don't care, man.
I like that. Yeah, it's rude, and I'm good with that.
Yeah.
I'm sitting happy.
2025, the year, but I don't give a damn.
Survive till 25, stay in the mix in 26. It'll be heaven in 27. That's what's going around at the acting industry at the moment.
Really?
Because it's tough times.
See you in 2027 then, and we'll have this conversation.
Yeah, I know. I'm not. I'm trying to raise my vibration, B.
I don't even know what that means.
I know. My wife told me to do that. I don't really.
Raise your vibration.
Yeah.
Okay. Good luck. Good luck with that. Does that mean you just walk around with like a fork and bang it at random surfaces and just watch it vibrate? I don't know.
I think I'd get a proper bombastic side eye if I did that.
Okay.
I got that phrase from my kids.
Okay.
And they're calling me bro.
Wow.
I walked in and I tripped, and my eldest daughter was like, "Oh, bro tripped." I was like,
wow.
Like, what now?
How
call him bro?
How times have changed, man.
Man,
can you imagine me turning around to my dad and like dad coming in and go, "What's up, bro?" Hey.
Never. Yeah.
I'd get to say it once.
And the thing is, and I'm catching myself about to say, in my day, and I'm like, no, I'm not going down that road, man. So old people say.
It what? I hate to break it to you, man.
Yeah, you can stop there. We can move on. So, hello, everybody.
I feel like at first I should apologize. We haven't been recorded for 2 months. We may well have lost listeners. If we have lost listeners, then to hell with you.
And they won't be here to hear the insult. This to full declare. This often happens a lot when I get a job that takes me away from home.
I thought you would say this often happens when I get a job. I can't hold down anything else.
That takes me away from home and gives me an odd schedule. Yeah. That's what happens. I've been doing A Christmas Carol.
Yeah. And obviously I've been away filming my new TV show, The Nuge, which is going to drop for autumn this year.
What is the blurb on The Nuge?
It's basically like it's a cross between the Saint, the Phantom, and the Shadow, and it's just me like traveling around the world, like helping people and stuff, and like getting into scrapes and taking down corrupt sheriffs.
Sounds a bit like Reacher.
It is.
I'm sure that's the plot of Reacher.
Except I'm
one of those scintillating original shows.
Except I'm slightly out of shape and about 2 foot shorter, both ways.
Yeah. Have you got contacts around the world?
Yeah.
Are any of the military?
I've got Barney who runs
Yeah, what's Barney run? What's Barney run?
Barney works at the local Tesco's.
It runs a rubble quarry.
He works at the local Tesco's. He's always good for a contract and a meat pie.
I think we should move on, man.
Yeah, at the moment I'm still workshopping ideas. So yeah. Shall we just get onto news?
Yeah.
Unless you got shout outs.
I want to shout out to some folks.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Shall we just get on with the news?
Yeah, okay. It's time for the news.
News. Actually, I was going to start with a bit of bad news, but I'm actually going to start with some just weird news. So I watched a trailer which was so bizarre, which had been sent to me by my lovely wife. Hello, Sue, who never listens, but hello anyway. Which I then proceeded to send out to a load of other people. Which it was a trailer for a new reality show. I say reality. I don't know why we called them reality shows. It's not. But anyway, called Celebrity Bear Hunt.
Oh, is
So, so the blurb.
Yeah, I watched that. What the hell?
So the blurb for this is Bear Grylls, who's like the kind of like adventurer dude, going to be dropping onto Netflix early Feb. It's set in a jungle in Costa Rica. 12 celebrities become prey as they are hunted down by Bear Grylls.
I love this. And I was like, yeah, but when you said it to me, you said, you killed me. You went, yeah, I don't think it really work unless he actually kills them at the end.
Well, the thing is, the way they set the trailer up, it makes it because it's literally one of the bits in the trailer where you see him going up behind someone and grabbing it by the neck, and I'm like, so what? And it cuts as if to say like, yeah, that's where he slashes the guy's throat, and I'm like, you know what? With reality shows now, I feel like we've hit a ceiling, and I feel like the way to break the ceiling is if it's Bear Grylls, but he just kills them,
Yeah, yeah,
or make things a little bit more interested. He kind of gets them, and then there's like a thumb up, thumb down bit,
yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah,
and
yeah,
then you
yeah,
know what I
yeah.
mean. Then the audience have to kind of like click
Oh
it,
no,
and then
so you know what'd be good about that is that you've got to then moderate the way you behave with the other cast members because they can decide the thumbs up or thumbs down. So it's in your best interest to like play nice.
I think some of it is they do tasks and stuff, and depending on how well they do the tasks, I think one of them then gets voted to basically be hunted by a bear.
Right.
And I'm
Right.
like, you know what? I'm in, man.
Yeah.
Because some of the
I
people on
saw
the
that. I
list,
was like, I said, like, I'm watching Traitors. I don't need no more reality TV show. No, I saw that. I was like, I kind of have to though.
yeah. Just as a side note, before we move on to the next bit of these, I just want to spend a minute going about. So we're watching Traitors season 3. There's some stupid people on that show, man.
There's some stupid people. I'm like, all right, number one, yeah. Did you not watch last season or the one before that? Because you're making the same mistakes. And number two, how many more times are people going to go, I can't believe they lied to us? It's called Traitors, man. The name of the game. But they voted out this guy who was autistic,
Yeah.
and he said, you know, maybe it's easier for me to like separate emotion from. And I don't like. Maybe that's the trait of your autism. For me, it's just common sense because you'll just be put together to betray each other. That's the name of the game, and you're surprised
Yeah.
when people start don't understand these people.
And it's always the same format. They always end up most of the time voting off to begin with the bigger personalities.
Yeah,
Always. And okay, they did get a traitor, do you know what I mean? But
but was just like, oh, I didn't like the way they walked into the room. Man, just let someone walk into the room.
there was there was one bit, and then we'll move on because obviously this is about popcorn. This is the geek show where one guy he basically did a toast.
He was just being himself.
He
He
was
was
just
just
being
being a
himself,
proper nice
and he
guy.
did a toast. He's like, "Oh, I just want to say to like fallen friends, and what is it in Welsh?" And he said this thing, and the minute he did that, people were like, "Well, that was peculiar." And he just got roasted.
For the next few days, the next few
Yeah,
episodes,
to
and
the
people were
point
just on him. They
people wanted more.
isolated him.
Yeah, he was walking into rooms and people were just like coming out of the room. I was like, man,
I was like, all he
oh,
did, yeah, he was just being himself, man. There was no secondary motivation.
honestly, every episode of that show I watch, I just go, I couldn't do it. I couldn't go on that show because I'd be that sort of person when they do the round table and it's like, oh, I think it's you, bro, because of blah. You gave a toast, and I'd be like, you know what? I can't be bothered with this nonsense. You think it's me, man? Just put the name down. I'm come
I'd
out.
be like, do you know what I mean? I'm not a swearing man, but I was sitting there. I think I'd be like, you're fucking idiots.
You know what I mean? You know the bit when they stand up
No,
and you got to
stop.
say,
Just take a moment. Think about what you've said. Try and find the logic. It is logical. That ain't logic. You need to look. I brought a dictionary with me because you'll need to like read the definition of logic because you don't know what it is. See, I'm getting heated.
let's move on, man. Let's move on.
Let's move on.
You got any news?
I think what hit me this week was the news about Diamond.
Yes, I had this. Yeah.
Now, Diamond is a comic book distributor, and which basically means they distribute comic books to comic book shops and newsagents and stuff around the world. what made Diamond quite a controversial figure is they got a monopoly on it. And you know what monopoly means? It means they get all the money, get whatever. There's a couple other distributors, but they're kind of like minor operations compared to Diamonds. They've got it all locked down, which means they can control prices, they can control whatever, blah, blah, blah. So this week they announced that they've filed for bankruptcy. Now, that doesn't mean that they're going out of business straight away, because that means it gives them time to work off their debts and to expand the operation and hope that other bits of the operation can start to pay for it. However, there is the chance that they can't recover from the bankruptcy, which means they're gone, which means what happens to comic book distribution around the world? And that's what's in doubt. It means that the smaller ones are going to have to pick up the slack. What does it mean for indie comics? Because Diamond's policy has been quite open for indie comics. Does that mean indie's got to like renegotiate all these deals and whatever? It could mean very little, or it could mean absolutely everything. So everything's on a knife edge at the moment, seeing which way it's going to go. But that's quite a big thing, and it's quite telling about where we are economically at the moment.
Yeah, and it always goes to show, because there was a lot of people who said back in the day as well, like, this is the problem when you have a monopoly.
Exactly.
You know, this is the problem. I mean, I've seen some people, you know, who got a bit cold about it, and it's basically like, well, read what you show, it's about time, they deserve everything you got and whatever. I'm kind of like, okay, but I'm thinking about the people that this is affecting, you know? And as I said, to put a positive spin, you don't know what might come out of it. I mean, it could. Maybe it breaks the monopoly. Maybe you get different companies springing into the void. But it's trying times ahead, man.
Yeah, it is. CBR did an article about it, and the last line was like, the comic development pipeline that's been in place for the past 3 decades may soon be rendered obsolete. Whatever way you look at it, serious changes on the horizon, and it may make or break comics. I mean, it's a bit dramatic, but
but maybe that's not a bad. I don't know. Maybe that's not a bad thing. Once, maybe we do need a shake up within. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. I agree. I'm not seeing this as a negative, to be honest.
We need to see some sort of, I don't know, shift in terms of how we do things, I guess, going forward in terms of distribution, but also promotion, I think, as well, especially of like things like indie comics and digital and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see where we are with this in like 6 months' time.
Yeah. Watch this space. Change is no bad thing, even if it gets a bit chaotic at first.
Yeah, definitely.
It's time for the week that was, or more like the month that was.
Yeah, or more like the probably 3-4 months.
The quarter of the year that was.
The quarter that was.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Like, I got so many things. I don't know how to do it. Like, do we choose a film and then we do a couple of films? Do we choose a TV show, books? What? I don't know.
I think we got I just think we go medium to medium to medium rather than, because otherwise we'll get too into the one medium. So I'm going to start with the medium that possibly we don't always go into the most. Nah, Cat, give it a rest, man. There's no one down the well. Behave yourself.
Maybe you need to like just hang up now and go save somebody or whatever the cat's trying to communicate.
Yeah, I don't know, man. In my head, I'm gonna go upstairs now, find something's cleared out of my house. He's like, I done told you. Right, cat's meowing because he was sitting in the box. It's like, what are you sitting in the box for then?
The one thing I've learned since having a dog and going on dog walks is the amount of people who call their dogs dickheads is huge.
Really?
Yeah. Everyone insults their dogs because dogs they're just a bit stupid. I'm sorry, dog lovers.
Yes. So yeah, comics. So
comics.
Yes, I want to start with one of the recommendations for you, which I've got to hail up Gary off the GS Facebook group, who recommended this, which is Batman One Dark Knight.
I have started it. I'm halfway through.
Okay. So this is by Jock. I think he's written and drawn it.
Yeah.
And the blurb is, it was a sort of mission Batman had run 1,000 times, From high above the sweltering summer streets of Gotham, Batman would escort the GCPD as the dangerous metahuman supervillain known as EMP was transferred. Do you know what? I'm not going to read all of that, man. Basically, you know what I mean? Basically, Batman's doing like he's overseeing like a prisoner transport.
Yeah, from Arkham to Blackgate Prison.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
basically across Gotham.
Across Gotham.
It's like they're at different ends of Gotham. So it's
Yeah. And the villain's like powers is he's called EMP, so it kind of says it on the tin, really. So as want with these sort of things go to hell in a handbasket.
But you get the impression that he's actually really dangerous, EMP.
Whether
he wants to be or not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's a serious threat level.
Yeah, and things go wrong, and basically Gotham kind of gets blacked out. And what's happening is pretty much it looks like every gang in Gotham is out to get this EMP dude.
Now, either some of them free him or kill him or whatever.
Yeah. And Batman's basically on his own, no backup, no comms,
no vehicles.
Yeah, no vehicles, and he's basically just got his wits about him, and he's got to like get to the other side of Gotham to like, and there's a time limit as to like, I don't want to give away too much, but he's got a time limit as to like he's got to get this guy to Blackgate before dawn. I won't say the reasons why. And it reminded me. This is why I
go on. I know what you're gonna say. Go on.
It reminded me of is it the Warriors?
Yes, exactly that. It's like Batman does the Warriors.
Yeah.
So the whole thing with the Warriors, where they went to a meeting across town and it all went wrong, and they had to get back to their turf. They had to cross town and just deal with different gangs on the way. And that is what this is.
Yeah.
Batman on his jacks, dealing with. And there's this bit where like he realizes he's got nothing. And he just puts EMP over his shoulder and goes, right, it's the old-fashioned way, or something like that. But he kind of, he's got this whole thing where he reels off what he's got to do. I've got this amount of time. I've got 13 miles. I've got whatever. I'm injured. I've got, you know what I mean? And he's like, here we go. And he's off. Do you know what I mean? And I was like, oh, it's on, man. And it's like, it's just watching. It is, what's the word? It is stripped back Batman.
Yeah,
it's just him. And there's a bit where he's using all his gadgets and his batarangs, and he goes, "I'm running low." Do you know what I mean? So it's like there's no way to restock up. It's just him on his jack. You said it already, using his wits.
Yeah,
that's all he's got to rely on.
It reminded me as well of the first Arkham Asylum. I know you haven't played them, but the first Arkham Asylum game, where effectively the plot of that was Batman was trapped inside Arkham Asylum.
I've got that.
Have you?
Oh yeah, I've had it for years. I've managed to play 20 minutes of it.
Yeah, I get that, man. It's still probably my favorite Batman game, because as it goes on, his suit gets more and more beat up. He gets like a 5 o'clock shadow because it's just him in there, and whatever. And that's what this reminds me of, because you see the wear and tear on him as it goes on.
Do you know, just on a side note, my big problem, and I realize my problem with games I can't figure out fighting. I just can't control it properly. I can't remember what kind of combos to do. I can't figure out how to accurately shoot batarangs, and I'm like, do you know what? I'm out because I'm just struggling.
Part of that is like you just do what you need to do, because I think sometimes with that, especially that game, it gives you all the different moves and like, you know what? I ain't got time for that, man. Just tell me what a punch button is. Tell me what
just keep pressing buttons.
Yeah, I genuinely went through a lot of that game just pressing buttons, and I learned the button for like not evade. It's basically you can sort of block and then you can kind of deliver your own blow. Basically, you learn that, you're golden. Forget your I don't even forget the batarang nonsense, man. All that, man. I don't even bother with that. You learn counter. That's what it is. You learn your count. Once you learn how to do the counter, you're golden.
Okay, all right. Well, when the kids have grown up and left home, I'll give it another go. Do you know what I mean?
In 6 years' time, right? We'll come back round to this. But in short, you obviously reading it. You know what I mean? Because I recommend it to you pretty much as soon as I finished it. It's great.
It had been on my radar.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great standalone story as well, which is what I like.
which is kind of where we are at the moment, isn't it?
Mm, mm,
Just getting the standalone stories rather than on the goings.
yeah.
No, so far I am loving it. Oh yeah, comics. Haven't done a lot of comics, but what I have done was By a Thread by Scott Scott Snyder,
Yeah.
which, I like Scott Snyder's work, and it was post-apocalypse, and which is, one of my go-tos. So I thought, yeah, I'm definitely going to go and give that a go, and it was on Kindle Unlimited. Yeah,
What's it
I'll
called?
Buy a Thread.
Okay, not heard of that.
No, the art was by Valeria Favoccia. I think I'm not going to say it's manga style art, but it's kind of on its way to that.
Okay.
And I was disappointed.
Oh, okay.
So they're in a world where um there was just one day there was this little patch on the ground, and anything that touched it would die. And then
Right.
it grew and grew, and scientists were like, "It's growing really. It will have covered the whole city within like a few days." And then it just keeps going and keeps going. And what they found out is the only thing it doesn't touch is diamond. So they're like, "Oh, we're going to build cities made up like from diamond or whatever," and it just goes wrong. So they reckon the rich people are somewhere in a city. The rest of them have got needles, so they've just got these little areas which they managed to save, and they've kind of built up.
Right.
And so it starts off with a guy who lives on needle 3, and the way you get to needle 1 and needle 2 is you put threads or strings or ropes or whatever, and you slide along them.
Okay.
And it's like I just can't work out from the narrative or the art how it actually works.
Right.
And it's like, rather than like getting into the story, I'm going, how's that happening? And there's a bit where they've got this flyer and they leave. So one person's in the flyer, which is shoving out these threads that the rest of them are all sliding along. And I'm like, what? They're flying all day? They spend the whole day sliding along threads. But I couldn't see where the flyer was putting the threads. And if I just spent so much time going, what? What's that? Hey, that I was. It may have been a really good story, but I was so distracted trying to work out how it was all working and trying to make. Because sometimes you put your brain on automatic and it makes sense of stuff for you,
Hmm.
or you can just roll with it and go with it. Well, I couldn't because my brain had nothing to grab onto. I was like, I'm just so confused. So I really, really wanted to like this, and I was just disappointed because I couldn't figure it out.
Well, I think sometimes as well, like if the story is that good or the characters are that engaging, sometimes you do kind of, I don't know, almost forgive stuff like that. So
Yeah, 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 yeah.
maybe even though you're saying it could have been a good story or whatever, maybe the story wasn't strong enough to kind of make you like subconsciously almost overlook that stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because there's stuff where be it I've read or I've watched or whatever, and then someone then comes along to me and said, "Yeah, but what about X, Y, and Z and blah blah blah," and they sort of point out like certain holes with the world maybe, and I go, you know what? Now that you said that, I can't disagree. But you know what? Clearly, it didn't bother me because I enjoyed the heck out of it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, so it sounds like it's one of them for you, as in like the story maybe just didn't hold up for you.
Yeah, if one of the things had, hit it, I could have gone, yeah, but there's too many things that weren't working.
Yeah.
It's a shame because the last thing I read from Scott Snyder was Absolute Batman 1.
Hmm.
And it's a whole new brand new world for DC, and a whole reimagining of Batman, which is in its own, absolute continuity.
Yeah.
And I was not convinced, but I thought I'd give it a go. So I read one issue, and if I liked it, I thought, right, then I'll get the trade when it comes out. And I read one issue, and I went, I was not expected to, but I'm in.
It's Absolute Batman.
Yeah, I'm in that.
Yeah, no, I read it. I read that. Yeah, it was good, man.
Yeah, so I'm in. So picking up this, I was like, okay, I'm on Scott Snyder roll, and it was like,
Short roll.
yeah, yeah. So I'll save it for the Absolute Batman trade. So
All right, all right.
there we go.
We're like moving on to TV.
Oi.
I know. I'll probably stay in a little bit, but I really want to mention one show mainly because I want to talk to you about Skeleton Crew, but I want to mention this show because I don't think a lot of people have really talked about this show, and I don't even know if you've heard of this show. So the show's called Evil. You heard of this?
No.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So this stars one of the people in it that you would recognise is Mike Coulter, who
Oh yeah,
played
yeah,
Luke
yeah,
Cage. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So let me read the blurb. So the blurb is skeptical forensic psychologist Dr. Kirsten Bouchard, Catholic seminarian David Acosta, this is who Mike Carter plays, and skeptical technology contractor Ben Shakir are hired by the Catholic Church to investigate purported supernatural events.
Ah, yeah,
As
okay.
as time passes, the three find their personal lives increasingly intertwined with such events and the individuals behind some of the incidents, such as Dr. Leland Townsend, Michael Emerson. So he was in,
Lost.
yeah, he's like a mate of Jimmy's, isn't he?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's a rival forensic psychologist who seems obsessed with cursing the family. So you've never heard of this, right?
No.
So there's 4 seasons.
Okay.
We've
4 seasons?
4 seasons, yeah.
How? What?
So I don't know. Well, the problem is it kind of bounced through. I don't know where it was in the UK, and then we found it on it was on a random channel in the UK, and then we've been picking it up off Amazon. I even to the point of I actually bought the last season recently. I think it's only like £6.
Okay.
But I love it. I think it's really interesting. It's just a really so basically so if you it's almost like a cross between like X-Files. In fact, I would say it's probably more X-Files than Fringe. And maybe I'm picking Fringe because it's like 3 people.
Weirdly, Fringe has been on my mind lately for some
Yeah,
reason.
but it's in that wheelhouse. But I say more X-Files because obviously, like, you've got one guy in there who's the priest, who is like a priest in training, well, it begins anyway, who obviously is kind of more geared up to sort of believe what's going on. And then you got the other two who are the skeptics. But it's the way that they deal with it, the way they look into things. You know what I mean? Like sometimes the IT guy will be kind of looking into it from a science point of view and going, and sometimes they're able to debunk certain things as well. And he'll go like, yeah, this is infrasound. That's why it's blah 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 blah. Sometimes it's something psychological, and that's where she comes into play. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
And sometimes, genuinely, there's some weird shit going down, and that's where you got your priest dude.
Okay. How have I never? This sounds like it's right up my street.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's not, and it's finished now. I think the 4th season was its last season, which can't get over it at the moment. And I said we've just finished the 3rd season. Finished watching it last week and really enjoyed it. Yeah, that's why I wanted to mention it because I think sometimes you get caught up on the kind of big shows that are out and stuff like that, and these sort of shows, which are you know what I mean, doing the work, and they kind of just don't really get a lot of airplay.
Okay. So it's not so.
So I don't know where season 1 might be on.
Yeah. So I'm losing. So I often look at justwatch.com,
Oh yeah,
and that says Amazon Video, but you got to buy it.
but
Apple TV, but you got to buy it.
yeah. But I think if it's on Amazon, I know that helps you. But I know it's not. It won't be much because I think the last season was like the full season was like £6.
Right. Okay. I'm gonna have to check that out. That's there.
Yeah.
Add something else to my list, man. What's wrong with you?
Yeah. Sorry, man. Sorry. Yeah, I know, man. But it's you. This is yours, man. I'm telling you.
I hear you, man. But still.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. I don't know if you watched Bodies.
No, that was on. Was that on Netflix?
Yeah.
Yeah, with like 3 like murders across time or something like that. Isn't it?
Man. So this was by Simon. Oh, I've forgotten his name. It was a comic writer. So it's based on a.
Simon Spurrier.
No.
Oh.
No.
Ferrum.
No.
Okay, forget it. I'm just throwing names out.
I've got to tell you because it's important. So I'm just looking it up. Cy Spencer.
Okay.
Not Simon, Cy Spencer. And unfortunately, so it was a DC Vertigo graphic novel. Unfortunately, Cy died before it came out.
Okay.
So that was so that was start. So basically, it starts with the appearance of a dead body in Long Harvest Lane in the Whitechapel area of East London.
In it though.
Yeah, in 1890, in 1941, in 2023, and 2053.
Mhm.
So you got 4 investigations at different time periods by Metropolitan Police detectives, which eventually become interlinked. And it is the plotting is so tight, man. And it's like, things keep happening to people, and someone will go to you, "You are loved." What's going on? You realize there's some cult stuff going on here, and they're going, is a great destiny coming, and we have to, and like you could see some people involved in this cult, they're so torn because they truly believe in this great destiny is coming, but realize that they have to do terrible things in order for it to come around.
Right.
And these detectives' lives are they're just pawns in this game. But they really want to stop the guy who's responsible for it all, but they don't. Most of them don't even know what's going on.
Right.
Yeah, they just do their bit without realizing how far forward it goes. And it's just, it's only it's 8 episodes. Great acting, no weak links in the cast as far as I'm concerned. And just really, it works because of the plotting is tight. The story works.
Okay.
And it's just it's really well done. I really, really enjoyed it.
It was on my. A lot of people talked about it. It was on my list, and then it just slipped off because time passed, and I sort of forgot about it. Do you know what I
Well,
mean?
it's another one of those ones in my mind. I'm like, this is really good genre stuff, but I haven't heard anyone talking about it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think what you get nowadays is it's almost like a signal flare. Where a show comes out and the flare goes up, and you'll get a bright spark of people talking about it, and then the minute the flare dies down, it's gone.
because there's another flare.
There's
A
another
flare.
flare. Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
Whereas I think beforehand, things like that would stay because, like I said, there just wasn't the same level of output like we have now,
Mm,
and the different places that you get stuff from.
yeah. What was nice for me is one of the guys in it is a guy called Jacob Fortune Lloyd,
Hmm.
and he was. Did you ever watch the Queen's Gambit? It's about chess.
Yes, yes, I did. Yeah.
So you know the photographer guy in it.
I know there was a photographer guy in it, but I couldn't
Yeah, so
tell you
he
what he
was a
looked like.
photographer guy in it, and he was also in Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. I don't know what role he had in it though, and whatever. Yeah, so he's one of the detectives in this,
Okay.
and I was like, "Why does he look familiar?" I was like, "Oh, I met him last year. He came to see a show I was in."
Oh, okay.
And I was like, "Ah, okay,
A
nice,
small
nice,
world.
nice." Yeah, small world, but there you go.
So whilst we're on the subject of shows that like don't kind of fly under the radar, so I think I know you watched it, but I don't think you've watched season 2. So this is Arcane.
I have not watched season 2, but oh man, it is on my radar. It's on my list. It's high on my list.
So Arcane, League of Legends. So basically, this was a
God,
it's actually
season 1 was so good.
it's actually a game which I've never played.
Mm.
And I think I knew it was a game, and so when I went into the first, and no one was really talking about it, and I went into the first season with that kind of like, I don't know, a game adaptation, I don't know. Whereas I went into it, and season 1 blew me away.
So, yeah.
Just in terms of like, I mean, the animation alone is worth watching if you're a fan of animation.
Character journeys.
Yeah, yeah, outstanding. Season 2, yeah, pretty much the same. Outstanding animation, the use of some of the music in it, the character journeys, the story beats. I can't fault it enough. So it's centered around two sisters, Vi and Powder.
It's a bit
Pito-
steampunky, isn't it?
yeah, but you've got the city of Pitover, which is like where all the sort of rich folk live, utopian city, and then you've got like the seedy part underneath it, which is called Zarn, and that's where like Vi and Powder live, and it's all of that stuff that's going on, and it's just brilliant, and no one's really talking about it. And one of the voices is done by Haley Steinfeld,
Oh yeah.
and I think the other voice is done, which I didn't realize is done by Ella Purnell, and she's the main.
Fallout.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. But yeah, quality show, man. Can't and it's. I think they might be doing some more, but it will be a spin-off because season 2 kind of rounds up the story. My
Right.
only criticism, which isn't a criticism of the show, because I feel if you've not watched Arcane and you come into it now, you're all good. Is there was such a gap between season 1 and 2 that
That's
a lot of the story I was like, I can't. Who that again? I can't remember.
mate.
And
I'm getting that with so many things
yeah,
right now,
and
man.
I wish. Well, season 1, I'm just looking. Season 1 dropped in 2021, and season 2 dropped last year.
Really.
So it's like a 3-year gap. Do you know what I mean? That's a long, and there was no
Well, I mean,
real.
doing animation takes time,
Yeah,
and
no, I get
if
that.
you're not,
So
I suppose that was the kind of thing they had no idea whether they could get away with a second season until they saw
yeah,
the response to the first season, I guess.
I just wished, and that's what I mean. It's not a criticism of. There's nothing to really, you know what I mean? Because especially with the way that show looks, that show has got to have taken time to put together.
Yeah.
Um, I just wish myself that I'd somehow, I don't know how, either found the time to watch
Re-
season 1 and it's a criticism I aim across the board with a lot of these shows. Get better with your series recaps, because a lot of the time I go and watch a series recap, I am none the wiser.
So I was Siobhan and I sat down to watch Loki season 2,
Oh yeah,
which, I mean, long story short, absolutely loved it.
it's better,
It's a
isn't it, than season
proper.
1, isn't
I really enjoyed season 1, and I think this topped it.
it? Mhm.
And just really great time shenanigans that made perfect sense. Well, it didn't make sense. I actually gonna have to go and read like what the hell happened in the last episode. I don't, maybe it's me being not very clever, but I'm not quite sure I understood what happened. But at the same, it's like what you said earlier. It was so good that my brain's gone. That's fine. That's fine. Once
Just
you
go,
figure it
yeah.
out, you can let it. But it was so enjoyable. I can let that go and I can catch up later. Do you know what I mean? But we were like, it has been so long since season 1. What the hell happened? And we watched the. We thought, well, let's watch the trailer for. I don't know. We watched something that was on Disney. It was rubbish. So we went on YouTube and just put in Loki season 2 catch up.
Right.
And there's some guy calls himself the catch up guy. My boy was, when he started talking, I was like, this is just gonna be annoying. 6 minutes later, I was like, this dude was succinct, he was on it, he told you everything you need to know, he was entertaining, and it finished. And I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna donate to channel, but if I had disposable income, I feel like I would, because he was just perfect. He did the job, man. And I'm like, yeah, more of that. 6 minutes, and
Catch up guy, is that what it's called?
I think so. I'm just don't know. I just put ketchup guy, and all I'm getting now is ketchup, the real ketchup guy. What? The man who survived on ketchup for 24 days at sea. What? Okay, forget that. That's not helping me.
Wow.
But it's like, I know now that I am going to search that guy out every time I need to catch up on something.
Okay. But just before we move on to that, I just want to say really quickly, less than a minute, because we were just going done films. So Sue and I started to watch Wicked yesterday. You know, the film Wicked.
I know. I went to see it in the cinema.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, what did you think?
I wanted my money back.
Hallelujah! Right. So so Sue's already said she wasn't really a fan of the stage show, right? And she kind of kept it quiet because a lot of people like love the stage show. And,
Yeah. I know that one.
Right. So we sat down to watch it, and within first 2 minutes, right? So I knew it was supposed to be like a different take on the Wicked Witch and blah blah blah. But 5 minutes in, right? And I was like, hang on a minute, I'm supposed to be rooting for everyone else other than her. Because after probably about 10, 15 minutes, I'm like, I get her point. Burn it all to the ground,
Yeah, but which it's like,
right? However, so that was my first thing. Was like I can't. I was struggling because I'm kind of like, at least when you look at Anakin and you look at the start, the prequel trilogies, you're like, I don't feel the same. Yeah, the Jedi's were a little bit, out of order, but I don't feel the same way. Do you know what I mean? I don't root for Anakin in the same way. Whereas it's a tragedy. With this one, I was genuinely like, I don't like anyone else in this film apart from,
Elphaba.
yeah, I don't
Yeah.
like anyone else,
No.
right? So I can't. She's obviously gonna go bad at some point, and then we're
Well,
supposed to
no, I
be
don't think she does go bad. I think the whole point is the world sees her as bad.
right. Okay. Well,
But
and I weren't ready for that level of that.
no, I think the switch is she's our hero, but no
Right.
one else. But
No one else
also,
sees
but the
it.
world
Oh,
she
man.
lives in, none of them deserve saving because they're also. I mean, what annoyed me is every single person in that world is shallow to a T. Every single person.
Yeah.
And like, mate, I could list my problems with that. Okay, right.
So,
Okay,
so hang
go
on.
on, go on. Yeah.
So basically, we got. So normally we have a rule, like we watch the film and then we kind of we do like a thumbs up, thumbs down, and then we have a little bit of a chat about it, right? So normally, even when the film is rubbish, neither of us unless it's really not, neither of us say anything. We just keep going with it. Whereas it got about an hour in, and Sue was like, "Do you want to watch Back in Action?" Which is the Jamie Foxx and the whatever. And I'm like, what? She's like, do you just want to watch Back in Action? We can come back and finish this off like later. This is last night, so we've got to finish it today, right? And I'm like, so you're not feeling it there? And
You ain't even finished it yet.
No, we finished it yet once.
You're only an hour through.
You
got like another 2 hours to go, man.
I know. That's why Sue called it. She said, look, it's Sunday. We both got work tomorrow. I don't really want to spend another hour watching this. So I was like, okay. So you went and watched Back in Action, which was fun. Didn't blow the world away, but you know what? It was fun. And it certainly was a lot more fun than Wicked was, because I was just like, and I love a musical. I'm not someone who's sitting there because I don't like musicals. No. Look, Greatest Showman, you put that on, I'm there. Jingle Jangle, you put that on, I'm front seat, mate.
I'm vexed about Jingle Jangle,
right?
Man. But anyway, carry on.
Yeah, but like this one, I was about 4 songs in, and I was like, do you know what? I'm not feeling the songs. Everyone, as you said, that's the word, is shallow. It feels like Hogwarts the musical, and I'm like, are these supposed to be kids? Because he looks 40. I don't understand what's going on.
And did you really call your university shiz?
Why is it? That's my thing. Is like the one, the two people I was rooting for is Elsbeth and the goat. I mean, dude, what can you do with that? Do you know what I mean? Nonsense, man.
Man, so number one, you could have cut like an hour out of that movie, and I might have been more enthusiastic. You could, and it's like and I was like, I was sitting there in the cinema, and I was going, you're not gonna sing. Don't sing. Don't. To the point. And I was like, and you know what? Let's take Star Trek musical episode that was in Brave New Worlds, Star Trek Brave New Worlds, yeah? Mm-hmm. And the music was part of the story. It was part of the narrative. They started singing. There was a couple of songs which were a little bit too long. Cut them out. That would have been fine. But for the most part, the music moved the plot along.
Yeah.
I felt like in this, every 15 minutes, they'd press pause on the plot to chuck in a song for the sake of chucking in a song.
Yeah.
And afterwards, my brain had not latched on to any of the music. So I could not have hummed a single song apart from Popular, because I hear it all the time. People going, my kids go, Popular and Defying Gravity. Now, the positives, I thought the production values were amazing.
Yep. Couldn't fault the look of it.
Could not fault it. Costumes, proper, it's great.
And I liked you know what I mean? The actress playing Elsbeth and whatever. I liked her. I liked her character. But I'm like, the rest of you can burn in hell. I'm sorry. I know that sounds dark, man, but you know what I mean?
Also, I mean, have you come across The Prince yet?
Oh, that's the bit where Sue stopped it.
I quite liked his song in the library, mainly because it was in the library. And I was like,
Yeah,
you know what? If we're in a world like this, the one person I can get behind is the one who thinks he's the man. And I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm just going to lean into that arrogance. At least
but,
he's got something to him.
but I think my thing as well is like, I like Michelle Yeoh. I like that dude, but part of it as well is like they didn't feel like singers. Do you get what I mean? As in
Mm,
the song didn't, their song didn't feel like
well, I couldn't even tell you what the song was.
they just didn't feel like there's a bit with Michelle and she starts singing and I'm just like, do you know what I mean?
But there's also like character bits where the prince comes in, he's got his talking horse, and they've got a great rapport.
Yeah, yeah, I
That's
like
it.
the talking
Yeah,
horse.
horse is
Yeah,
done. You don't see
yeah.
him again.
See, that's nonsense.
Why you set up this relationship, you don't capitalize on it. And there's this whole thing about the animals in Wicked, and they're having a hard time. And rather than lean into this relationship that you establish, the prince doing the right thing has got nothing to do with the fact that the horse is one of his best friends. They just that's bad writing.
Yeah,
As far as I'm concerned, there's a bit in it where I was just saying, can we say white savior much?
really.
Yeah, and I was like, I could. Now the people I was with, they loved it. My wife loved it. Now all the people I know that loved it, loved the music in the stage show, and they were there for the music. Now
Right.
I'm not there. I'm not there for the music, but I'm there for story and plot and good writing, and I didn't see none of that.
As I
And
said,
I bought my wife the book for Christmas,
yeah.
and she's halfway through it, and she was like, "This is not a story for kids.
Okay.
This is not the story that's in the cinema or
Okay.
on the stage. That's the book it's based on is dark.
Okay.
Plenty sex. It's another thing altogether. I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to read this now because if I'm there for story, looks like that's where the story is.
Okay.
This nonsense can do one.
I don't know if I care enough that I want to know the story. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
So yeah. So tonight I've got to do another hour and a bit, and then then my penance is paid.
But you know what? By the time you get to the end, you might have turned around a little bit.
I doubt it.
Yeah, no, wait and see, man. Wait and see.
Okay.
Wait and see. Wait and see.
Put it this way, you gonna you're gonna tell me by the end of this film, right? I'm gonna turn around and go, actually, I'm rooting for all of these people.
No, not even slightly.
Right? Okay.
But
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. My comment, my burning hell comment, still. They literally did a tune at the start of the film, which is effectively like, you know what I mean? Burner, we don't give a damn. You know what I
you
mean?
don't
Die
know.
alone.
You went into this not knowing nothing about the story, did you?
I knew it was about a different take. I knew it was about basically like she was misunderstood and stuff like that. And I don't have you know what I mean? And I'm all for that, but I would have liked a little bit of shade in there. You know what I mean? But I was just literally so literally everyone in this show, everyone that she comes in contact with is just awful.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's just awful.
Starting with her dad.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, well, why wouldn't I must sort of go, why do I need 2.5 hours? All I need was 5 minutes for me to go, well, why wouldn't she have gone bad?
But do you know what? Let's leave this here because I'm really interested to hear when we next chat. I want to hear what you thought by the end of it.
Okay, so much like the film, we will break and it will be like Wicked Part 2, and then I'll come back.
And I want you to look for. I want when we do talk about it, I want you to start with the positives.
Okay. Okay, it's going to be a short one, but all right. All right. Challenge accepted. I can do. Look, let's finish positive.
Yeah.
Skeleton Crew.
Right. So here's my. A lot of people saw the trailer for Star Wars Skeleton Crew and were like, nah, no, not really. I saw the trailer and went, yep. Because what I saw was something very different to what I've seen before. And I was like, if there's one thing that I'm going to give a go for is something that's different. Whether I like the suburban setting it's trying to give me or not, I haven't seen a suburban setting in any other Star Wars thing. So I'm curious.
Can I just address that? Because being one of those people, I didn't say no. I didn't say to myself, like, I'm not going to watch this show. I just went, I'm not going to rush to watch this show. That was my take on it.
Okay, cool.
And it was a suburban thing. And for my thing was, one of the things I always loved about, like, Star Wars as a kid, you know what I mean, and as an adult, one of the things I loved about it was that, you know what I mean, a galaxy far, far away, blah blah. That it was something that was completely different to what I knew. Do you know what I'm saying? So it was I couldn't like put myself on there and go, oh, that's like that bit on Earth. Or that, you know what I mean? It just felt Han Solo wasn't human. He wasn't from Earth. He was a Corellian. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So which is why I did struggle in I think it was Attack of the Clones when they kind of mainly that prequel trilogy. There was a lot of stuff they tried to make it a little bit like Earth. There's a bit literally where Obi-Wan goes into like a diner and it's some greasy guy and he's like, hey Obi-Wan, and you know, and I'm like, "Eh." So when I saw the suburban stuff, that's what I thought, and it put me off a little bit. But I heard such overwhelming praise about the show from people that I know and respect or whatever, that I thought, you know what? And I love the rest of it. I love the look of it, and I was like, I'm gonna go back and give this a go, and so glad I did.
So, and I can't say all right. So here's my problem. Here's my problem. What really annoyed me with Andor, and I would probably have enjoyed Andor much more if I hadn't listened to a single fan in existence. Because everyone's going, "This is Star Wars. This is proper Star Wars," and I'm like, "This was
Yeah,
good. This was good." You know, objectively speaking, it was good, but it lacked joy. It kind of lacked a lot of aliens. So to my mind, you ain't got no Star Wars going on there. You've got good dystopian science fiction set in the Star Wars universe. That's great. Don't tell me this is proper Star Wars. I tune into Skeleton Crew, and it's got its dark moments. It's got its moments where things are all on the line, but there's still joy in it.
yeah,
And there's aliens aplenty. And for
yeah,
me,
yeah,
what
yeah,
makes it a galaxy far, far, far away is seeing this biodiversity, which there was a sprinkling of in Andor, but grudgingly.
yeah.
But this embraced it and lent into it, and I'm like, well, that's what makes it Star Wars to me. Now, with Andor, I felt like I was in a galaxy fairly near.
Yes, yes. No,
And
no, I get that. I
And
get that.
even in Skeleton Crew, if it was a suburban setting that is a bit like Earth, to me it was still far away because my boy's on his hover bike, rolling past this old lady who's a complete alien with her alien dog, and I'm like, at least it may seem familiar, but it's very different.
I
Um,
think for me,
and I was there. I was there for that.
yeah. I think for me, it's an agree to disagree on the suburban thing. No one's going to convince me of that. It still makes me think of
But
suburban
but
America.
but every
However,
every I'm just gonna say this.
yeah,
Every universe must have some sort of suburbia analog.
yeah,
You have to because
yeah. I'm not.
people are wealthy, people are not wealthy. Do you
Yeah,
know what I mean? So I'm not. Yeah,
but
whatever.
I've seen that done like in Clone Wars or like when they go to Coruscant something. I've seen it done in other places, and I've seen it done. They could have still had that aesthetic and been able to have got away with it being completely alien. But like I said, to me, the fact what sold me is that someone said they're not there for long. I was like, okay, all good. Do you know what I mean? But I 100% agree with everything else you said. I think one of the things I loved about it was that there was aliens. One of the characters was an alien.
Mm.
And yeah, someone said, yeah, he's just a kid in the mask. I don't care. You know what? Because back in the day, it would have been just a kid in a mask. So
Greedo was a man in a mask.
mask, exactly. I ain't got no problem with that whatsoever. Especially when he's bringing the good, like Neil was. I love that kid, man.
He's, yeah, man.
That kid was quality, man.
My kids were hilarious. They're like, Wim's a bit rubbish, isn't he?
Which one
but
was?
the,
When was the curly-haired kid in
yeah,
it?
yeah.
Yeah, he
But
was
I'm
a
like,
little bit.
but it's like he was meant to be.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? He's just an idealist. He's out of his depth.
everyone brought something to the. I think even when there was a couple of times when I thought, God, he's starting to like verge, not annoying, but he's like, what are you bringing to the table? And then he brought something to the table, but he just took
Mm.
a bit of time. Everyone, all of them had their own little arc, which is what I quite liked about it. And then I thought what was great about the final. Have you watched it all now?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm not going to spoil it. I thought what was great about the final episode was kind of that all came together. All
Well,
of
they
their
they were out of their depth. They were annoying. They were lost. And by the last episode, they'd learnt their lessons,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
they paid it back in full. And I'm like, that's the journey.
My only thing, and I don't know if it's it's less of a criticism, more of a comment, because actually, a lot of them sort of films back in the 80s would end that way, where it's almost like we're all together. You know what I mean? It's kids hugging and say, "Hey, we're done." Because I thought there were some really like interesting ideas that got established and sort of dealt with. I would have liked to have seen it a little bit longer, that last episode.
Mm.
20 minutes, like kind of, but it was almost like in some ways, because it is, you're doing 80s and you're doing kids, it's almost like once the police turns up, effectively the kids have already done the business.
Mm.
They've already taken care of business. Do you know what I mean? It's just for the police to like turn up and mop up. And I get what they were trying to do, but I would have liked to have seen a final scene with Jude Law's character.
Mm.
I just would have liked to see more. I don't know, but I didn't have. It wasn't a problem. I didn't sort of go, well, that's spoiled it, like some people have done. Do you know what I mean? I still thought it was wicked. I thought Jude Law's character was really good.
This is the first time I've watched a film with Jude Law and not been annoyed by him. I was like, hey, I actually enjoying Jude Law. I don't enjoy Jude Law. And this time I was like, okay, all right.
Yeah,
that was good.
Yeah, he was really good because
you can come round for tea now, Jude. We're all right. we're good.
And also, a lot of people have tried to kind of do that, Han Solo-y type character, but effectively just end up doing Han Solo, and I didn't get that from him.
Yeah, because his back, and what I loved is you got hints and hints and hints in his backstory, and he didn't need to go. I'm still wondering about how it went down and what happened, and that's fine.
Yeah, and I thought actually that's a really interesting storyline. I wouldn't want to do a spin-off, do you know what I mean? But you could do a whole spin-off for that dude.
Yeah.
And my boy was proper living on his wits throughout that whole show, man. My boy, he was working hard, man.
He was.
So
that's I guess a 5 out of 5 for me.
Yeah,
not that I do ratings anymore, but
and I know people are like clamoring for a second season. You know what? I'm good. If they do one, all good. If they don't, stands alone just nicely for me.
Absolutely.
Not everything has to get, you know what I mean? It has to run.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But
they were great. On saying that, those kids were great, man. But you need to find the right. If you're going to continue it, you need to find the right way to continue it. And I don't know how you could do that. But they managed it with Prodigy, so Star Trek did it. So, but no, man, it's quality show, man. Well, I would heartily recommend it.
Yeah, I'm like, well done, Star Wars.
Yeah, nice one.
Yeah,
keep them coming, man.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of made up for a lot of past things, recently past things that just ain't been up there.
Yeah, all different, So, right, round us up, buddy.
Well, you know the score, people. You can contact us at the Geeks at geeksyndicate.co.uk or find us across all social media at Geek Syndicate. We just want to know, do you agree with us? Do you violently disagree? Just let us know. Keep in touch. And if you want to support what we're doing and help us pay the bills, you can support us on Patreon or Ko-fi.com. That's the one we're on, isn't it? KOFI, Ko-fi.com. So do it. Give us a Christmas present for next Christmas early, like really early, but still.
And also remember, we've got a private Facebook group. If you want to come along, so long as it's, before it all goes,
Yeah. Before it all goes the way of Meta.
Before it all goes the way of Meta and AI. Come in, say hello, pull up a chair, say hello.
Do it. Yeah. Come along. Well, until next time, Geek Syndicate, we're out.